Hi, welcome to day 11 of our journaling challenge. So, if you're new, welcome. My name is Krista. I am a tarot reader, oracle reader, spiritual coach. I practice Reiki, meditation, and journaling. And I started a 30-day journal challenge for those that needed some help journaling, because I know it's not easy for everyone. And I feel like journaling is very important because it gets our thoughts and feelings down, and it can help you work through a lot of issues. And then they're always nice to go back and look at like different cycles that you've gone through or different challenges that you've gone through and to see how you handle it. And it's just always good to go back and look. So I know it's not always easy for everyone, and it's not always easy for me as well. So I just wanted to come up with a fun way for people to be able to journal more. So I have these oracle cards, and they have journal prompts at the bottom. So I just randomly choose an oracle card, and then we will read the card and then talk about the journal prompt. And it just kind of helps you to, like I said, just have something to journal about. I journal every single day because I do astrology. Like if you need a birth chart or synastry chart done, you can click the links below and go to my website and everything. But I like to follow astrological events, and especially like eclipses, retrogrades, things like that. You can always write about them in your journal, and then you can go back and look at the energies and how you're moving through different cycles, different retrogrades, because they're always in different houses, different planets. So it's fun for me, and it's interesting to me to see how things work out and how you work with different energies, because you're going to handle different energies differently. So let's go ahead and pull this card. So today's card, cute, is the mushrooms. So it's card number 32. Mushrooms. I see the magic. Amongst the forest floor, the mushroom, commonly known as fly agaric, emerged to their brightly colored fruiting bodies, standing out upon layers of brown foliage and moss. These mushrooms help share a lesson that may not come to mind when your eyes land upon them. They symbolize growth, and more importantly, how growth still continues to occur after a life cycle. How we change as individuals throughout life is hard to recognize, especially as more life experience is gained and we move through relationships with ourselves and others. From growing up with imaginary friends and talking to fairies, many of us go on a long spiral that lands us back to remembering and cherishing the innate wisdom we held as a child. The universe wants you to know that you have grown into a beautiful and powerful force, and you should be proud of where you are today. Don't get too comfortable, though. There's always more to life than meets the typical eye. Cultivate more time in nature to reflect on how truly amazing life is, how amazing this planet is, and how amazing you are. So the journal prompt for this card is, what was your relationship to the realms as a child? Interesting. I like that. I never would have thought a mushroom would bring us to that conversation, because I don't know, I love mushrooms, but I never saw them as like an ethereal type. For me, it was always crystals and unicorns when I was growing up. I loved unicorns. I still have some little unicorn statues that my parents bought me when I was a kid. And I always watched unicorn movies. I had unicorn sheets. I was obsessed with unicorns. And I still think that they're awesome. I actually have some oracle cards that are unicorns that I love when I do my tarot and oracle card readings. So animals, I always loved animals. Like I said, crystals, fairies. Tinkerbell was big when I was a kid. My Little Pony was big when I was a kid. They had Rainbow Bright. They had, all these fun things. So, yeah, I think that that's really cool to think about, and all the things that you did as a child. I was always barefoot as a kid. We grew up kind of in a rural area, which now it's grown into a huge area. But, when I was a kid, we always played in the woods. We played in the creek, and I was always barefoot. And so I was always very grounded with the earth. So that's funny because, I was still very connected to spirit. And I always knew that there was more than just us in life. At the time, I called it God through the church. And, obviously my views have changed since then, as they do as you get older, but it's just interesting to think about, as a kid, all the fun things you did and all the different fun things you thought about. And, I grew out of unicorns as I got older and even into, teenage and 20s. And then once I turned into my 30s and I had my own kids, my daughter loved unicorns and we watched My Little Pony. And so, my son was very into cartoons and dragons and dinosaurs. So it was fun to tap into my inner child with them once I got older. So, and now that they're older, I still look into my spirituality and different things. So it's fun to see the life cycles and the growth that you go through. And again, journaling is a great way to look back. 4 or 5 years ago, what were your beliefs? Maybe they've completely changed. So anyway, yeah, I think that's a very cool journal prompt, and I hope you guys enjoyed that one. So tomorrow will be day 12. I hope to see you there. If you guys want to watch any of my oracle readings or tarot card readings, the links are below. You can go back and look at previous journaling days or any tarot readings or anything you want to look at. But I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am, and I can't wait to see what tomorrow's card is. Bye.